watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do our review for episode 9 of The Walking Dead, season 5. A very, very tough episode. Definitely not something I was expecting, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people weren't expecting what they got. And what we got here was a very unique episode. The way it was designed, some of the things we saw at the end, we saw in the beginning, and we got, we now knew what it was we were watching, once we saw the very end of the episode. I criticized the show for the first half a lot, and I gotta say I'm very, very pleased with this episode. This is a very good episode. Probably one of the best episodes, since the first 3 of this season. Well, from an emotional standpoint, probably one of the best episodes since Herschel's demise. And definitely something we weren't expecting. So we see that the group is struggling, really, really struggling being on the road for a long period of time. We still see Maggie very briefly in the beginning, obviously dealing with the loss of her sister and what we believed was a burial ceremony for her sister. And the group, we didn't see everybody, but, we got the idea that everybody was together, obviously, the way they set it up. And they're traveling out east, and they're going to, I believe it was outside of Richmond, Virginia, to go to Noah's home, where he said that they had built walls and some sort of security. And it was Beth's goal to get Noah to his home, to his family. And Rick, obviously, later on in the episode, when he was talking to Glenn, said, we did this for Beth. Obviously, when they got there, the place was in shambles. Now, while we're all watching what's going on with Noah and the group, while they're in this little town, this complex that had walls built, and obviously seeing Tyrese's struggle, and we'll get to that in a minute, I think the biggest thing that we noticed is this wasn't just all about zombies, what happened in this town. I mean, the buildings were burnt. They even looked like they were bombarded. And I was listening, trying my best to listen to the radio transmission, throughout the episode when they would play it to get an idea of what was going on. But it was kind of really hard to tell because I felt that maybe there was a link there. But either way, we saw bodies chopped up, zombie bodies chopped up. Later on, we saw that the torso portion of those zombies were in the trailer. Really something weird going on here. And I'm sure we're going to get an answer to that. I think some of us can speculate what we think it might be, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm just going to stay hush on that. But I think a lot of you know what I'm referring to, especially if you've read the comic. As we get there, obviously Noah is very, very distraught about what he thinks at the time happened to his family, or you pretty much say it's a certainty what happened to his family. There's nobody alive there. There's zombies scattered everywhere. The walls are broken down. And we know that zombies didn't do that either. There's no way zombies can pull down brick or metal, especially after they've decomposed for so many years. And, Noah takes off and he wants to see his home. He wants to see what happened. He wants to know for sure. And I think anyone would. Even if you know deep down inside that your family's probably dead, you have that last glimmer of hope that you run to your home and maybe there's somebody hiding in a closet and, whatever the case may be. And obviously Tyrese, wanting to look out for his best interest, follows Noah to his home. And we get there and there's a dead body. I can only assume maybe that was a family member. Noah covers it up. And as Tyrese was walking down the hall, you hear like some sort of praying. At first, I thought it was somebody else. Then I figured out later that it was probably Noah saying a prayer over his family member. Then he goes into the room and he sees one of Noah's twin brothers, not Noah's twin, but he had twin brothers, and just laying on the bed was eaten. And he looks on the wall and he sees the different pictures of the twin brothers. And, in the background, you see something, and before you know it, Tyrese is bitten. And I gotta say, I was shocked. I was very surprised. There's gonna be a lot of pissed off people about that. And some of you fans get crazy when somebody dies on the show. I mean, if they had this much support for Beth when she died, I could only imagine Tyrese. And I gotta say, it was very emotional. It was, but I didn't feel as emotional about it as I thought I would because part of me feels like Tyrese was just gutted out of the show. You know, I kind of feel like we didn't see him come full circle. And I thought we might get that chance later on in the episode when you see flashbacks of him talking to, to Bob, the governor, which was great to see David Morrissey back for an episode. Obviously, Beth, the two little girls, Lizzie and Mika, and the hunter. I don't remember his name. And it's almost like a conflict inside of him. Like, almost, would he have lived if he had been the horrid person that he was trying to prevent himself from being? Or did he do the right thing by living the life he did from the time the apocalypse started till now, which is being more merciful, trying to keep his humanity? And when I saw that conflict, and I thought it was a very compelling portion of the show, I thought it was very nice the way they did that, the way they show him, like from the time he got bit to the end of the episode, basically what you were seeing was Tyrese go, on the cusp of life and death. Almost like it was almost like he had a choice as to whether or not he wanted to live or die. And during that time, Bob, Lizzie, Mika, Beth are telling him it's okay. It's better this way. And you want to know something? Let's be honest. It is. It is. You don't have to worry about anything anymore. You don't have to worry about getting bit. You don't have to worry about seeing loved one die. I hate to sound that way, but the show tries to ground the zombie apocalypse so realistically that it strips hope from you in every turn. When Bob seemed too happy, suddenly he's dead. We've seen Tyrese and how he has forgiven Carol, how he's been very humane, how he's tried to be merciful. And that does shed a lot of hope to other people in the group. Now he's gone. How many members of the group are left that have any kind of humanity, hope within them? Probably none. Maybe Tara, if we even get to explore that. But so I love that part of the show. I love how they went back and they put these characters in front of him, and it almost felt depressing. It's like, wow, this is the last part of his life he's got to deal with. He's going to die questioning whether or not he did the right thing, but he didn't question himself. He stood up to the governor. He said what he had to say. Regardless of the outcome, he believed that what he did was right. He believed that people could live the way he lived. And I think that was the important message here, is that no matter how much hope is gone, no matter how bleak things look, you need to, keep your humanity. But unfortunately, if you do, you have a very good chance of dying. You have a better chance of dying if you go the humanity route than you do if you go the ruthless route. And, for a second there, they teased us. They dangled us in front of a carrot, or dangled a carrot in front of us, I should say. When they chopped off his arm, you thought that maybe he would have a chance. But unfortunately, he succumbed to the bleeding. Carol was too far away to come and cauterize the wound and patch it up. And eventually he died. And it was very sad. I think had I seen more of Tyrese the way I'd hoped to see him throughout the show, it probably would have hit me harder, but that doesn't mean it's any less, saddening to see him go. It just, I wish they could have done more with him. I wish I could have seen him do more on the show, than what we got to see. But nonetheless, that doesn't mean it wasn't it was a very good episode. This is exactly what I was hoping for, exactly what I was expecting for the second half, was for them to really kick it off into gear. And I just hope it continues on to the end. Obviously now they have a reason to go to Washington. That was another question I had. Like, what would be the purpose now, since they revealed that he no longer has the cure? But they used Noah as a reason to get closer to Washington. And then furthermore, used Michonne to propel them the last 100 miles, saying that, hey, he said there was no cure, but he didn't say, but he wanted to go to Washington for a reason. Maybe there's a good reason why. So we're going to see them head to Washington. Tyrese is gone. It's very sad. My wife was torn up. My wife's like, everybody I like dies. Cause she loved Herschel. She loves Tyrese, and, she loves Glenn. And, for those of you who read the comics, my wife did not. So, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. But it was a good episode. I like the way they did the whole flashback. I like the scenery. I like the way they kind of showed us in the beginning what really happened and made us think that was about Beth when it really was about Tyrese. Obviously I didn't expect Sasha to outlast her brother, but she has. And, it was a very good episode. Even the cinematography was great too. showing the sun, which to me signified the light, the light that that we all quote unquote see before death. And I love that they had Tyrese on the cusp. He was like almost kind of in the purgatory. You know, he was between life and he was between death. And even though he decided he wanted to live on, you know, obviously real, you know, biology, you just can't, no matter how much you want to live, once you bleed out, and that's it. On a side note, I thought it was very interesting at one point when Glenn was talking to Rick and he picked a bat up. Just saying. So in terms of what happened in that town, I know for a fact we're going to find out soon. Obviously, that was not all zombies, so we'll see what happens. But that's it for this review. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit E.T.N's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description.